have begun at eruption sites, also called vents, near the volcano's remote cloud-covered summit.
Well, most eruptions from Hawaiian volcanoes, and Mauna Loa included, usually start out with fissures that open up, and you get what we call just a curtain of fire, as lava seems to fountain along a long stretch of fissure that can be miles long. Over time, this fissure tends to focus at a single point, and that's where most of the fountaining and activity is concentrated.
The area around these fractures is called a rift zone, and it determines the direction the lava will flow. Whichever way that is, it's going to be fast, because Mauna Loa's steep slopes cause lava to travel as quickly as 9 feet per second.
In the last eruption of Mauna Loa in 1984, Mauna Loa was putting out 1 million cubic meters per hour.
Volcanoes, they imagine violent, explosive eruptions. Definitely not a potential vacation destination. Yet the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on the Big Island is the single most popular tourist attraction in the state.
Well, a lot of people come to Hawaii, especially Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, expecting to see a Mount Rainier or Mount St. Helens-like volcano, and that's a common question. Where's the volcano? Well, one of them is Kilauea, which we're standing on now, and it appears very flat. But the other is Mauna Loa, which is this broad shield out here, and this is what dominates the Big Island of Hawaii. It's not a central peak like you might see at a Cascade-style volcano, but instead has this very broad shield-like shape with a summit that we can't even see from here.
The slow-moving yet voluminous flows help create the unique shape of the so-called shield volcanoes here. But the sluggishness also makes it possible for tourists to get up close and personal.
Approximately 2 million visitors come to the park every year. We figure about...
The earthquake, 2006, really was a wake-up call. We sustained damage, somewhat severe, in some areas along the Big Island. We had damage to buildings up here. We had damage to the roadway. There was a bridge here that was heavily damaged. And down along the Belt Highway, over here, we had a section that the road busted out in front of a bridge.
The State Department of Transportation estimated the damage to state roads and bridges alone to be about $20 million. Even on the island of Oahu, an hour away by plane, power was out for 3 days.
The airport was closed down, the whole place came to a standstill, and this is pretty far. You don't expect an earthquake on the Big Island affecting Oahu to such an extent.
The 2006 earthquake measured 6.7, but the earthquakes of 1868 reached a magnitude 8, 12 times more intense.
Are we capable of dealing with an earthquake like that? I don't think that anybody is prepared to say that their structures can survive an 8.0 magnitude earthquake. And so if Oahu was blacked out for 2 or 3 days because of this earthquake in Kiholo Bay at 6.7, I think, there's going to be more wide-ranging effects, and the Big Island is going to bear the brunt of it.
And such an occurrence could be the precursor to another major event, a volcanic eruption. The Hawaii Volcano Observatory is run by the United States Geological Survey, or USGS, to study and attempt to forecast future activity.
The first sign of unrest that we might look for at a volcano is heightened earthquake activity. Perhaps something we call seismic tremor, which is essentially a constant earthquake where the shaking never really stops. And seismic tremor has always been associated with magma moving.
As the earthquake frequency increases, it becomes easier to determine when and where an eruption might occur.
So we start with a few earthquakes per day, and then over weeks